Hey everyone, DJ Benji here. Welcome once again to my YouTube channel. Thanks again for tuning in. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about FL Studio, and we're going to be doing a very basic overview and introduction to what the program is, what the program does, and some basic workflows, and just to give you an idea of what the different areas are called so you don't get stuck with any terminology. Okay, anyway, let's crack on.
All right, so we just opened up the program and it will present you with this. We're just going to start a new default, which is our default project is a basic 808 with limiter project. Now we can go for an empty one if we want to, but for what I want to do, it's going to make it easier. You can choose any of these, but we can either click here or we're going to go here, and then that's going to open it up. That means that we have, on our master channel, we have a limiter, so it will not go over 0 dB, so it won't hurt your ears. And it means we've got a few instruments in there already. Okay, so right, so let's talk about the the areas in FL Studio. So at the top here, this is what we call the toolbar. All right, and on the toolbar we've got the different we've got these different icons here. So little tip as well, what you can see up here in this is our hint panel. Okay, now this first one, as you can see in the hint panel, is called the playlist, which is where we actually arrange our song. This is our song mode, this one here. So anything we do in our song mode will be in our arrangement view. And we also have our pattern mode, and we can click here to see our channel rack where we create our patterns. All right, and here we have our piano roll. So first one is your playlist, second one is your piano roll, right? Third one is the channel rack where we would make our patterns for our pattern mode. Fourth one is our mixer. Okay, this is where we do all of our mixing adjustment, and we can add effects, change the volume, pan in, make things stereo or super wide. And this is our browser. Our browser is where we keep all of our samples. And here we have open project or plugin picker. But let's say, for argument's sake, you started a new project and it didn't have any of this in it. You can use your browser and you can search through your browser to find different drum samples and stuff like that. So what we got here, drum one shots. And the way in FL Studio we want to put this in here, look, we can just click and drag or right click and then send to selected channel or focused plugin, and then it will make that there. Yep. So what we're doing, we're going to go here. Let's say we wanted to change that, so let's put that in there, and let's change our kick to a better kick. So that explains how to get your sounds from the browser into the channel rack. Now we can make patterns, because FL Studio originally was called Fruity Loops, and what we used to do was make little loops, and we used to make a pattern. Let's just make a quick house drum. By the way, you can do this and that, and then you can go here and here, and then we can go here. All right, let's make a little house beat, and then we can hit play. Easy, right? So that is our pattern, right? Now what we can do is we can put that pattern into our playlist. So now when we we can put loads of those in. By the way, if you haven't got that tool there, in the playlist we have these different ones. So a pen will make one. We've got the brush, which makes several. And then we've got this one for deleting. This one will mute certain ones. So let's say I put that one in and I wanted to play, let's do, sorry, this one. So we put those in and we wanted to silence that one. We can mute just that one. And now when we play it in song mode, because remember we're in the arrangement view, so we must be in song mode. You can see how that one is not playing and then it goes back. And then it just loop round forever. All right, fun stuff. The other thing that you can do as well as doing these patterns is you can just take stuff from your browser and chuck it in to these tracks. And this is a real handy way of working because it just makes everything nice and organized. And I'm not going to tell you what way is right and wrong, because with FL Studio, it's such a great program. There are several ways to do it. But if you come from another traditional DAW like Logic or Ableton Live or MPC or something like that, you're probably used to this linear style of workflow in an arrangement view, and I'll show you how to do that with this. Right, so what we can do is click and drag and just drag that on there. This is a different way of working, so you can go audio tracks. Now that will give that kick and an audio track. It's called O4 there, but if I wanted to rename it, just right click and you can go rename color and icon, and we'll call it kick, if we can right click. And if we wanted to change the color, again we can just do that, or F2 is the thing. So we'll make those nice red color, I think, or brown. That says it's brown. We go for pale violet red. There we go. So now they're always going to be red. Okay, let's say we'll put that there. We'll put another one there, and there, and there. Now see how these are overlapping? You've got to be careful with this button here, because if that is highlighted, that will put the time stretch function on, and we don't want that. So what we want to try and do is select all of these. So we're going to hold the command key and select all of them, just make them a bit shorter. Now if you can't do that, you have to pay attention to this, which is your snapping tool, which is really important. That we're just going to put that in there like that to see how we've dragged all of them. Whereas if we go here, this actually changes the pitch of the sample. So if we're in our song mode, whereas if we go back by pressing Command and Z, can you see how now they're not? Can you hear that? How that's changed the pitch? Anyway, right. I'm gonna put our claps in. That one will do. We're gonna drag that into there, and then we're gonna do another audio track. We'll put those on there, and we'll put that in there. Now the good thing about working in this way is that when we go to our mixer, you can see that our kick is already assigned to track 1 and our clap is already assigned to track 2, and they are already labelled. So that's audio and getting audio into it. What we can also do is make one of these. If we wanted to get an instrument in, we can hit this plus sign and we can get any of our instruments or any of the FL Studio instruments that we've got. So for example, if we use Flex, which is great, put Flex in here, and then we can and see how it's already created a MIDI lane for this flex instrument on the 808 crushed channel. Yeah, and if we wanted to record something in, we can just record, and it'll ask us, what do we want to record? We want to record notes and automation, so we're going to go there. We want it to give us a countdown, so we use that, and then we'll do that. I'll go into more details on this anyway. This is just giving you a general idea of workflow. And then we're going to hit play. 3, 2, 1. Which is cool. It's too long, obviously, so we just trim it down to there. Or what we can do is we can turn on our snap, go beat, and we can use our slice tool, or use the C command to slice it, and then use our delete to delete it. Now we've got this. So you see how these two notes are not quite on the money. Now what we would do is we go into our P, and then we can go back into our piano roll, which we spoke about earlier. And this is where we can edit the notes on our piano roll. So you can see that this note here, these notes are not quite on the money. 2 ways I can change that. I can move it a little bit. Or if I go and select them all, if I go here, so if we go here, tools and quick quantize, you can now see that they have been snapped to the value which we have chosen up at the top, except this one. Sometimes you need to go in manually and sort them out. See how that's continuing forever? That's because we've got record on. If we turn record off, then it'll do this and it'll play a little loop. Okay, so now we're making music, all right? So remember, it's all just about going through this browser and then chucking stuff in here. So you can put whatever you want in there. You could put a breakbeat. Let's chuck that in. And then we're going to go audio tracks. You can see how this is a little bit long. This is where this comes into handy. Because now if we turn this off to none, we can then change where that comes in. And then it's almost to the line. Or we can just right click here and then go fit to tempo. And then now everything is on the money. We're going to use that C again to cut here. And then D to delete. And then get rid of that. Okay, so the only thing left to speak about now is the mixer. Because we've spoke about the playlist, which is here. We've spoke about the piano roll, we've spoke about the pattern editor, and we've also covered the browser, right? So here we're going to cover the mixer, right? So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, and we can do that by doing this. So then look, we can see some of our tracks are already coloured. So we've got our kick, which is red, we got our claps, and we got our crushed 808, and we got our speed garage loop. So, for example, what would we want to do with this mixer? Just to give you an idea, just to tidy up this tune a little bit. This speed garage loop, if we play it on its own, you can still hear that it's got bass in it. See that boom. Now I could either cut that out manually here, or what I could do is just do a little bit of EQ. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We have got an EQ down here, which we can use. Let's turn that off. So that gives you a rough EQ, which is quite good. By the way, any time you want a slider or or dial to go back to its original setting, just hit the Option key or the Alt key if you're on Windows, and then click it, right? So, or, I mean, we could do that EQ like we done there, or we could put a EQ from the rack. So I've got my fruity parametric EQ, which is cool, and then I can do the same thing. Because there was quite a lot of bass in the track before, so I've just removed some of that, and it'll probably be a good idea for me to explain these at the side of the channel rack. I'll do this again in another video. If we need to see all of our stuff, you can see our speed garage breakbeat is there. If I want to turn the volume down a little bit, and that is pretty much it, guys. I mean, we could put other things on here. We could put a reverb on a spare channel if we wanted to, and we can rename this, rename color and icon. You get the thing now. Let's give it a nice color, blue like reverb, and then we're just going to call it reverb send. All right, and then rename it. Now what we can do, let's say for example we wanted to put a little bit of this into this channel to feed it. Can you hear what that's doing? That's sending some of that signal to this reverb send to give it a little bit of space, right? We'll put some of that, and we'll put some of that into this, just a little bit.
All right, guys, so there you have it. That was my brief introduction to FL Studio 24 and what you can do within the program, and it's given you a real brief insight into how to get instruments, how to get sounds in, how to use the browser, and what different areas within the program are called. I will be going into more depth into the individual areas and to tell you exactly what they do and to give you more advanced detail on each of the individual areas. So make sure you hit that like, share and subscribe button, and stay tuned and look out for the next video. Anyway, hope you all have a good day. Thank you very much for tuning in. See you next time.